AI is not going away. We
Yeah.
cannot fight it. There's no resistance is going to work. It saves so much time, it saves so much money. People are going to adopt it and they're going to use it. It's going to happen. Jobs are going to completely change. The society that you know now is not going to exist in 5 years. I predict it's going to be a much bigger difference than the COVID years. Much, much bigger. If you look at how fast the AI is changing, I'm not 100% sure what the next step is meant to be. And so I just did a prayer and I was like, God, please, can you tell me what you want me to do next? Because it's how we're working together. And I went into meditation. And in the meditation, I saw this dog. It was a stray dog. And I knew in the meditation that it was in Argentina, in this place where I'd visited, where there were hundreds and thousands, tens of thousands of stray dogs. And it was lying on the side of the road in the sun and it was dying and it was sick. And I just woke up immediately out of the meditation after seeing it very clearly. It was like, right, that's where this is leading you. This is your future. It's helping the animals with natural medicine. With a person says, how can you use hypnosis for for that? Well, people, their energy affects animals so greatly. So the people that care for the animals need the hypnosis. You have to be prepared to be a little bit annoying. Every now and then I have students in my class and I say to Caroline, I go, um, they're like me, they're annoying, but they're gonna go really far because they're always asking questions or they're going off topic or they're 10 steps ahead. But I love seeing it. And yeah, I think just being yourself and being bold, it requires annoying some people. Because if otherwise, what's the other option? Is you're pleasing everybody, right? And then you can't be being yourself if you're pleasing everybody.
Welcome at What is Your Gift? And today we are meeting Daryl Gove. He's a Scottish naturopath and hypnotherapist with over 20 years of experience transforming lives here in New Zealand. Daryl is the head tutor for the Integrative Hypnotherapy Institute, mentoring practitioners worldwide. But Daryl doesn't just work with clients, he innovates. He facilitates executive state identification across New Zealand and has co-created 3 game-changing programs: the Vita Method for holistic wellness, Wind Down for alcohol reduction, and the 30-10 Reset for sustainable weight loss. And when he's not in the clinic or teaching, you will find him hosting WTF stories and advice. It's a popular podcast where real conversations meet real expertise. Daryl Gove, where science meets soul and where change actually happens. Hi and welcome, Daryl. It's such a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you, Lily. Thanks so much for having me.
So, Daryl, I met you. Gosh, it's this year. It feels like 2 years ago. It's funny how time goes, eh? Yeah, I met you at the conference, the Hypno HNZ conference, and
Mhm.
it was really nice talking with you. And I was like, oh, I think it's the perfect person to have you and talk about your story and what you're doing.
You think it was really nice to meet you. I think it was back in March, but yes, so much has happened. The world moves quickly.
It does, it does. So I would like to ask you this first question. Actually, I don't know much about your background, so I know that you have
Mhm.
this accent coming from Scotland,
Yes.
this accent. And maybe if you want to tell us a little bit about your background, where you're coming from, and yeah, what you're doing.
Yes, sure. So the first thing is that I've been in New Zealand 25 years.
Wow.
Though I'm from Scotland, I'm very much established in New Zealand. And I grew up there in a really small village called Hillside, which is up on the east coast. It's not where the tourists go, but it's very beautiful. And it was just very a typical upbringing with two sets of grandparents in the same village, and um, all the family close by. It's a, a unique village in that it had a mental hospital in the
Ah,
village, which was where most of the employment was. So all of my grandparents were working there or involved with the mental hospital as nurses, and
ah.
one as a patient for depression, because of course back in the 60s you could, if you were depressed or you had postnatal depression, and go to hospital, to get better. And so I grew up with just mental health just being just a really normal thing. It was an open hospital, so the patients would walk around the village, and I just was used to people who were a little bit different, who would be just saying hi, interacting, and then when I was 18, I had the opportunity to move to New Zealand. My family have been emigrating here slowly over decades and decades, and we were kind of the last holdouts that were like, no, we love Scotland, we want to stay here. But the sun called us.
Oh, because you're on the North Island. Yeah, yeah. So it's probably warmer. Yeah.
It is so much warmer. Where we're here in Auckland, it's very similar in the winter here to the Scottish summer.
Yeah, right. Hmm. Yeah, I guess because Scotland is green, but yeah, I guess it's cooler. Yeah.
It's freezing. Yes. Because you're from France, right?
Yes.
Or yeah, we used to go there every summer. We'd drive all the way through England and get the ferry just to get some sun for a couple of weeks. And that would be the only sun of the year.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. So, wow. So your passion sort of started early. Like how, yeah, t tell us a little bit how it worked out between this first experience and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean there were many steps along the road, and
Yeah.
it kind of took a route which, I came back to hypnosis and hypnotherapy, which is where my focus is after navigating through natural medicine and natural health. And that was really the reason that I'm doing this is because growing up, I watched in particular two of my grandparents with a 20-year age gap, 22-year age gap living together. And my grandfather, who was the older, he was just so strong, so healthy, and so well. And he was, every day he would show me, "It's my man's multivitamin. Here's my liver salts. Here's my garlic tablet." And he would just take all his vitamins, and he grew all of his own vegetables, and he fed that to us. We ate there every day for lunch, even when we were at school. And it was always homemade soups and all these beautiful diets. Whereas my grandmother in the morning, she would get out her diabetes tablet and her heart tablet, and she'd be eating chalk ices and all this unhealthy things. And there was just such a contrast visible to me right back then, what a healthy lifestyle versus an unhealthy one, and what that leads to. So it was always in my mind that I kind of wanted to save her. Please stop smoking, please be healthy, please go for a walk, please lose some weight. And I loved her so dearly, but I couldn't save her. And so when I arrived in New Zealand, uh, I was quite astonished because here that we have many more options. In Scotland, it's like you're either eat healthy and that's about it. That's your only option for getting well. Whereas New
Mhm.
Zealand, I was exposed to herbalists, and we have yoga, and we have acupuncture, and it just all this natural medicine from all around the world is so visible everywhere here. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this could help my family. This could help the people that I love. And it's through wanting to help my family that I first kind of got into it, and ended up where I am really.
Mm. So even 25 years ago, you felt the difference between New Zealand and Scotland and the healthy, holistic approach, or later.
Yeah, I think 25 years ago I moved here, and I started to find herbs and things like that. I'd go to gypsy fairs, like we didn't have those
Yeah.
in Scotland, and
Ah,
um and I got exposed to, for example, when I was not well and I went to the pharmacy in Scotland, you just got given acetaminophen, Panadol, paracetamol, whereas here they gave me vitamin C and echinacea in the actual pharmacy itself. I didn't have
wow.
to go to a health store. They give me herbal tonics. And I was like, this stuff works. Like, this is the first time I've been sick and something worked. I can't believe it. And So yeah, that was right back 25 years ago, and so that was my introduction to natural health really here.
I'd like to take a small moment of your time to offer you something that can really help you further and give you a chance to start making a real and tangible change in your life. I've created a new money blueprint, a program that helps you release old money beliefs and step into a healthier relationship with abundance. It's simple with practical exercises you can do anytime, and it's powerful with hypnosis recording that I have created using NLP, AD sound, ancient wisdom, and also Simpson protocol. You can use it while you are walking, during quiet time, or even as you fall asleep. Each time, you will be dissolving old patterns and opening new possibilities. So if you're ready to shift your mindset around money, the link is waiting in the show notes. And now, let's go back to our interview. Yeah, and from this time when you arrived, how it unraveled this your journey.
It was really long. I didn't make my mind up very quickly because it was kind of like a hobby. I was busy doing other things here and there. And um, when I was 21, so this is like 23 years ago, I got a part-time job in a health store. So I saw the job going, and I already had a full-time job, but I was like, I can work nights and weekends. And so I applied for it, got the job, and started to learn from naturopaths. So I guess
Mm.
that was the main step. I spent 17 years working in health stores in New Zealand while I did
Wow.
all sorts of other jobs. Yeah, a long time. And it was never full time. Well, I say never. There were short periods of time when I did full time, but usually it was what I called my hobby job. So I would have another job and then I would go off at night or on the weekend and work in the health store and learn from the naturopaths and learn from the training that you got there and just learn from what worked and didn't work with the customers there.
Mm. Okay. And how did you stumble into hypnotherapy?
Well, that one's yeah, it's a bit of a story. So I was I had been using hypnotherapy as a kid, but I didn't know it. So I was very spiritual as a kid, and I was reading this book about like crystals. I bought it at a car boot sale, and there was like meditations you could do, and I used to lie my friends down, and I would take them through these meditations where they could get messages from their subconscious. So I was
Mhm.
always using hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and not knowing it. And then one day, I must have been about 23, 24. I was in Wellington in a secondhand bookshop. And I found this book. It was Leslie Cron's Hypnosis, Self-Hypnosis, it was called. And I was like, well, this is interesting. So I read that two or three times. And it was just interesting, nothing else. I would try the techniques at home and they would work fine. But it
You were
was
trying
really
on your own, or you were trying all on your family or friends, not just on
just
your
on
own?
myself, just on myself. I thought I was really bad though. I thought I was terrible at hypnosis but it turns out it was the opposite. I was such a good subject. I would go straight into ultra deep hypnosis. And so
Ah.
I kept going, oh no, I fell asleep again. And it's just that I was going too deep. Um, so I kept practicing and practicing and some incredible, even from way back then, there were times when I used it to amazing results. For example, I was taking my partner who was having an anaphylactic reaction, their tongue was swelling up, and I was racing to the hospital because it's quite far away from where we lived and there's no time to wait for an ambulance. And I remember saying, look, I'm going to hypnotize you while we're driving. And he was like, no, 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 no. And I was like, shut up. Your tongue's swelling up. Just let me hypnotize you. And he's like, okay, okay. So I didn't know what to do. I just did an induction, had him go down the stairs, find a control room, and just get a dial and just turn off the reaction. And to both of our surprise, it worked.
It worked.
The reaction stopped, and it was like, oh, so there were a few occasions where I happened to use it on others, but again, that kind of went into like a little box and disappeared. It wasn't until I read Brandon Bay's book, The Journey, that I really decided I have to go deeper here. So Brendan Bay, she trained under Tony Robinson, or is it no, Tony Robbins? What's his name? The NLP guy?
Yeah.
Yep. And she wrote a book about having this tumor the size of a basketball
Wow.
and her journey to get rid of it naturally without surgery.
Wow.
And I'd read this book several times and I wanted to go and train under her. So she was doing trainings in Australia, trainings in USA, but it was always so far away and so expensive. And then one day I was rereading her book. You know, I tend to like read the same books over and over, like get
Okay.
favorites. And I'd reread this hypnosis book and I was like, hang on, what she's doing is this, it's hypnosis. She didn't call it that. She gave it a name, The Journey. But it's like,
Wow.
that's hypnosis. That's what you've done. That's what did it. And that's when I thought, if I learn hypnosis, I'm going to be able to construct my own versions of what she's doing. And
Ah,
that's where the idea to learn hypnosis came from.
wow, that's fascinating. What's the name of the book again, Brendan? The
The
Journey?
Journey, it's just called The Journey, but there's lots of books called The Journey.
Yeah.
And by Brandon Bays,
Base. Okay,
Bays.
cool. I'm going to put that in the show notes as well. Thank you for that. It's always good to
Great.
have books to listen to or read. I'm
Yeah,
listening all the books now. I don't read much.
I listen a lot as well.
Okay, cool. Wow, fantastic. So basically, it's how you study your journey as a hypnotherapist. And what I would like, because this podcast is all about inspiring people to step into their own passion, finding what really resonates with them. And but often there are fears or doubts. Have you had any, and I'm sure along your journey, some doubts or some moment where you fell down, and maybe explain us how you've been able to bounce back, to go
Mhm.
beyond that?
Good question. Well, I guess I'll answer that in two parts because
Yeah.
um, the bounce back bit and get having a down period, I'll come to that. But I guess to start off with about fears and doubts. You know, I thought about this, and this is going to be like a really um, annoying answer for you, but I didn't really have any fears or doubts, like
Ah,
because what I feared and doubted was before I was kind of called on this path. When I
ah,
didn't know what I wanted to do, I was like, what will I do? I don't know what I want to do. Should I go to uni and study this or that? And I just couldn't make up my mind. I tried like 20 different jobs. It was ridiculous. Like people get bored of me going, no, I know about that because when I used to sell mortgages, or when I used to be a travel agent, when I was a baker, and so I just tried every little thing. And so once I knew what I wanted to do, there was just this certainty. It was like, this is right. This is what I meant to do. This I meant to be
um,
doing this. And so I wasn't scared.
yeah,
There was a block, however, which was money. It's not cheap to train in hypnosis if you want to
yeah,
do a diploma,
yeah,
and it's not funded by the government or anything like that. So you need cash. So I just put up a prayer and I was like, if I'm meant to do this, just please provide the money. And it came just in these really random chunks. And it was so obvious I was meant to do it because I remember being $500 short. I just needed $500 more. In fact, 1,000 because there was twice when I needed two more $500. Anyway, I was on holiday. So I'm like, I'm on holiday. I'm not going to like earn or get money on holiday. But my partner goes, oh, Daryl, do you mind if I nip away? I've been asked to go and do a wedding and do some makeup and I'll get $500. I'm like, sweet. So you can have it for your course. Great. Get to the last day of the holiday. The hypnotherapy course is starting in like the next week. I still need $500. And as we're checking out, they go, "We're sorry, there was some noise somewhere on the campsite. We'd like to refund you your money that you've paid us." And they just gave us our money back. So I was like, oh, so I was like, okay, great. So I knew I was meant to do it. The universe supported me. I was given what I needed. So there was no fear. It was just dive in and do it. Along the way, it's been tough because, I think there's this sense that if you're going to be a healer, you need to do it for free.
mhm,
And as a human being, there's a sense that if you're a man in a relationship, you need to be earning a ton of money.
Mm,
And so if one is relying on any external validation, good luck. You know,
mm,
I think you have to be really self-assured if you're going to step into your calling
yeah.
and to do what you want to do. And you have to be prepared to let other things go if they don't fit in with it. And so for me, there have been many times when it's been hard. I mean, I've just gone back to uni after 10 years and
Mm,
I left under pressure to earn more money. And you shouldn't be at uni, you need to leave, you need to earn more money. And so to go back was a little bit scary after 10 years to go back and start learning again. And again, this is not to blame other people because it's all me. It's all me. It's juggling the demands of life, the demands of the universe, and and also making sure that I'm having fun doing it. Because
mhm,
if it's not fun, I'm not going to keep doing it, and then I'm not helping anybody, right? So I think the, a particular time when it was hard, I guess, would be maybe during the lockdowns when we were told we couldn't have clients in our homes.
mhm.
And I think people are a bit more used to Zoom now, but at that time it
Yeah.
was new for a lot of people and they just didn't want it. And so losing clientele is
Mhm,
difficult when you have a business where you see clients
mhm.
because once you don't have them, it can be hard to pick up again. Luckily, I got asked to do a talk on how to restart getting clients after
Mm,
moving. And so that just reminded me of all the things I had to do. I During lockdown, I moved to another part of the city and I just started again. And I just got a whole bunch of new people. So that was hard, not being able to see people face to face. For in
mhm,
Auckland, we had quite long
mhm.
lockdowns. And
Yeah.
because I didn't get vaccinated, it meant that even after everybody went back to normal, I still wasn't allowed to have people here. And
Right.
so, yeah, that would be the only thing that was a little bit tough. And how do I get over it? Well, you have to change with the times. You have to adapt what you do. On the first week of lockdown, I teach at Integrative Hypnotherapy Institute with Caroline Cranshaw. And most of the other schools were just kind of waiting to see what happened in 2 or 3 weeks. It was the very first lockdown. Nobody knows what's happening. And Caroline and I, we got on the phone to each other and we said, this isn't going to be two weeks. This is going to go on. Let's get online now. And we went straight online. And from the very first weekend, we were teaching online and we did it very quickly. We made an online course, we filmed modules, and we just pivoted very, very fast. And I think if you're going to be successful in an area that's changing, like ours is, you also have to be flexible.
Yes, I love that. This the idea that we need to adapt very quickly. I didn't want to ask this question that early, but actually, I think it's just in the vibe of what is happening. Lately, I personally have been interested in seeing what AI is doing to our society. I see it personally as something positive but I won't go into what I think, but it made me realize I think people need to shift their perception around AI and because it will have for sure some disturbance in the way we are doing our business, the way we are even the whole society. And I would love to hear your insight on about AI. So you can go in any direction that you want, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm one of these people that has an opinion on everything, even if it's not informed. So
Yeah.
definitely have one. Um, Look, my opinion is this, and I would like to shout it from the rooftops. If you're listening to this and you hear this, please pay attention. AI is not going away. We
No.
cannot fight it. There's no resistance is going to work. It saves so much time, it saves so much money. People are going to adopt it and they're going to use it. It's going to happen. Jobs are going to completely change. The society that you know now is not going to exist in 5 years. I predict it's going to be a much bigger difference than the COVID years. Much, much bigger. If you look at how fast the AI is changing.
Mhm.
And I don't know how optimistic I am about if it's going to be a good change. I think there's the potential for that. So my advice is this, embrace it. I think that um, imagine people going, oh, let's not use calculators because we should be able to do maths in our head. Well, that's true. You know, my partner is a civil draftsman, and you know, still when they learn at school, I went to his university in Argentina last month, and he showed me like where he studied, and he said, "Look, see the desks. We still learn on paper. You know, we still learn how to do the drawing from the basics
Wow.
before we get the computer assisted drawing." Because you still need to know what to do. Like maybe you're on the site and you don't have a computer. So just because there's AI, it doesn't mean that that you shouldn't learn things and you shouldn't know how to do things. But you could do so much more if you learn to use it. And if you don't, other people will. Other people are going to use it. So it's not use it or don't use it. The question is how it's used. If I may say, I was in a meeting this morning and I was with the university and on the student council, and the subject of AI has come up because,
Mm.
for example, it's not allowed, but things like Grammarly for grammar checking, people with English as a second language, they're using it.
Yeah.
And so people are getting in trouble and they don't want to get people into trouble. They want to try and navigate this. And what do we do? And, you know, my advice to them again was absolutely, you're going to have to change the policy. Like, we have to be allowed to use AI because it exists. And, you know, browsers have them built in now when you're searching things on the web. Google Docs, Word, they are using AI to check your grammar. You're just going to have to change. Everybody, we're just going to have to learn and adapt to this new technology that might be a little bit scary or a little bit exciting, might make people, you know, maybe some people are going to pass some things and they shouldn't because they're a bit more clever with it. But at the end of the day, we'll all get up to speed eventually. And it's
Do
here for a
you,
while.
thank you, yes. Do you think it can be one of these amazing opportunity? I guess during COVID, it was a bit the same. We had to rethink differently and very quickly. Do you think that can be because I don't know, in my clients, I have a lot of clients at the moment losing their job or being
Hmm.
made redundant or other other things that make them losing their job. It's not specifically because they are redundant, but because for some reason something is pushing them out of what they are doing right now. So my question
Hmm.
here is, do you think people can use AI to boost toward a new career, like especially if they have a passion, if there is something that they wanted to do? Do you think that can be um, something that will boost them up?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, AI can be like a working partner for you. You
Mhm.
know, you can train AI to help you. So for example, let's say I've recently decided that I would love to get more involved with helping animals with the mind and with the body.
Ah,
This isn't, I wasn't planning to talk about that today because this is part of my really long-term goals.
mhm.
Um, but imagine I wanted to do that tomorrow. Imagine I go, right, I want to work with animals. You know, you could use AI. Hey, give me 10 jobs working with animals and health. Give me the study options, give me how much it costs, give me some things I won't have thought about. And it will provide all that information very quickly. You're going to find things you wouldn't have found online. You know, Google has everything ranked by who pays the most to go to the top of the search, whereas
Yeah.
AI will search through that for you. It will search Instagram, it will search X posts, it will search everywhere. And so I think it can be a partner helping you to decide what you're going to do. And let's say you've decided,
Mhm.
um, you can start asking it questions like, how do I beat other people? How do I improve? How do I do what I want to do to get there? And it can help you. Sometimes it gives you, can I swear on this or not? Do we swear?
Yes, yes, sure,
Yeah,
go for
we can
it.
swear. So sometimes it always gives you like bullshit answers. They just make stuff up, you know, and it's
Yeah.
not even true. So you know you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But 100%, if I was saying, hey, give me the name of 10 dog training places um in my area and the contacts of the people that run it, it would have it there. And it just makes it easier. You know, you still have to do the work. If you want to do a new job, if you want to pursue a new passion, you still have to do it. But AI, I think, can really help you.
Mm. Thank you for this insight. I like it, and I hope it will inspire people to embrace it, as you were saying earlier.
Well, it's, when they say, it might sound unrelated, but it's coming into my mind right now as a metaphor. If your country's being invaded, right, why does everybody speak English around the world? Because England went and invaded everybody, including Scotland, right? And no hard feelings. But what happens is you have to learn to speak the language of the invader. That's how you survive.
Mm.
People often said to me, "Oh, what if this country invaded New Zealand? What would you do?" I said, "I'd learn their language." That's what I would do.
Mm.
And so AI's here. It's
Mm.
it's here to stay. It's not going away. And whether you see it as a positive or a negative is beside the point.
Mm.
Learn its language. Learn to use it because then you're going to survive.
Mm. Yes,
Mhm.
thank you. I would like to bounce back into what you were saying earlier about you knew what you wanted to do.
Mm.
And I think that's very powerful because I remember for me, I was actually, it was Sharon. She was my naturopath, and at the time I had some issues, and she told me, and it was the perfect timing for me to hear it. She told me, "Why don't you change your job?" Because I enjoyed my work, but not, I couldn't see any purpose. And when she told me that, I had this big um, word massage coming up. And within 2 weeks, I started studying about, I found the perfect cold Reno massage. Anyway, all that
Yeah.
to say that when I was ready, I had this intuition and it just came up to me because why I'm asking you this question is because a lot of people are asking, yeah, but how do I know what I want to do?
Well, yeah. I think you have to learn to listen.
Uh-huh.
You know, is you say you heard it. What were you doing when you heard massage at that time, in that moment, or when you saw that word appear?
I think I was feeling lost and I sort of surrendered in this moment when she told me that. Like I was just open at the moment where
Mhm.
it came out. I think it's probably that happened to me.
Yeah, and I think that's the key is to be open.
Uh-huh.
You if you look on Seek or job websites, you're really not going to find your passion there, I don't think.
Mhm.
It you need to talk to people. Like you got some advice from your naturopath or just start putting it out there. My partner was considering a change in career recently and thinking about doing something outdoors. And so I remember down at the conference, I was speaking to some people and all these ideas that you could never think of came about
Ah,
just through chatting because we really don't know what the range of work is out there. We've no idea because we've no idea within each industry how it can be subdivided. So I think being open, I think talking, for me, meditation and hypnosis, like 2 days ago, as recent as that, there's been a few changes in my career recently and a few things that are changing for the future. And I just wanted some guidance. I feel like, you know, I'm not 100% sure what the next step is meant to be. And so I just did a prayer and I was like, God, please can you tell me what you want me to do next? Because that's how we're working together. And I went into meditation. And in the meditation, I saw this dog. It was a stray dog. And I knew in the meditation that it was in Argentina, in this place where I'd visited, where there were hundreds and thousands, tens of thousands of stray dogs. And it was lying on the side of the road in the sun and it was dying and it was
wow.
sick. And and I just woke up immediately out of the meditation after seeing it very clearly. It was like, right, that's where this is leading you. This is your future. It's helping the animals with natural medicine. With a person says, how can you use hypnosis for for that? Well, people their energy affects animals so greatly. So the people that care for the animals need the hypnosis and the behavioral stuff. And so that was through asking a question, going into silence, and then waiting for the answer. And then trusting it when it came. And I've not got the full message, but that's kind of my methodology. I don't know that it's going to work for everyone, But if you're the kind of person that prays or meditates or does hypnosis, I think giving yourself not just moments of silence, but long moments of silence where your mind can ruminate and think and kind of daydream. That's what you need. And you also need the right input. Have you have you had enough experience? Have you been to the right places? Have you, let's say this is coming from your subconscious and it's not miraculous. Your subconscious can only work with the information you put in.
Mhm.
So start watching things you're interested in. Start um, following threads of consciousness. Oh, I like this book. Oh, let's read more about that subject. And then when you go into silence, you should get ideas pop up. That's my plan for you if you're looking for something.
I love that. Yes. Yeah, it's exactly that. And all the tools that you expressed are, it's funny because it always resonates with me. It's like, yeah, it's what I've done. So yeah, and you're right. Is where you put your attention is where you create your reality. So yeah, if you want to make a change, yeah, just study and learn what feels right for you. And yeah, the calm of the mind is the key. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Oh, thank you. You were mentioning about animals, and have you done anything with hypnotherapy and animals?
Good question. Well, yes, I have. If you hadn't asked that question, I wouldn't have known that I had. Um, and because how I've used it is I've had a lot of rescue animals. So I used to do this thing of rescuing hedgehogs, where I would take sick hedgehogs with mange, usually, and you wash them with oil to get the mange off, and you get them their ivermectin injections to worm them, and you change them a couple of times a day and you feed them until they're strong enough to go back to the wild.
Mhm.
We'd have rescue birds, I found rescue rabbits and things like that, and finally got a rescue dog who's the love of my life. And um, in this journey, these animals would be so scared. They'd be
Mm,
so scared, like, where am I? What's happening? What are you doing? And I'm in pain. And what I did is I would go into trance. Well,
mm,
I would use hypnosis while I was holding these animals, and I would notice that the animal would change. And I remember even saying at one point, "Look, watch this. When I go into trance, the hedgehog opens up. It like it looks at me, and then when it can sense your nervous system, and it's not magic and it's not psychic. It's all animals and humans, we're actually attuned to our nervous systems of each other, to
mhm,
our breath, to our heart rates. And then separate from that, there's electrical fields and pheromones and so on. But it works. It just worked. And so I used to use that with the rescue animals. And my dog was so anxious when we got him. All of his siblings died. He was rescued, and so we took on this little sick dog that had already had surgeries, multiple surgeries by 11 weeks old, and also during lockdown, so not a lot of people around. We got a very expensive but amazing. If anybody needs her details, her name's Elsa. I can get it to you. And she came round and did some behavioral training and helping, and anyway, she's doing this one technique. And she's like, and as you just do this and feed the little bits of cheese to him, you're holding the eye focus and you just imagine a bubble of energy going around him, keeping him safe. And I'm like, have you done hypnosis? Because that's hypnosis.
yeah.
And so yeah, so she was hypnotizing my dog, and so that's what I started to do. I was like, oh, that works. It just eye fixation, keep him focused on the eyes, slow, repetitive movements, and then yeah, they don't know the words,
Mm,
but they can feel the intention. So I also hypnotize my dog, but so yes, I do hypnotize animals. Is the really long answer to your question.
No, I love it. And I think because we're mentioning this subject. I just gonna have a quick talk about what happened to me about 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
We are cat family. We have we had three cats, and one passed away 2 weeks ago over the weekend, and I could feel he the few days before it was the end. And so I was preparing myself, grieving. I started to cry, and I was doing a lot of walks and meditation. And the hypnotherapy I'm using is called Simpson Protocol.
Yeah.
And I sort of get in contact with what we call the superconscious mind, can be guidance, whatever it is. We don't really know what it is. And I asked, can I be there the moment he will pass away? And I had the answer of yes. And I was very happy because this cat was a rescue and he was extremely scared for all his life. And I felt that it was very important to be with him on the last moment. And sure enough, and it's incredible because it happened on a weekend. We were both not working with my husband, and I went into the garden and I felt the urge to go, and I found him. He was already
Mm.
starting in a process of passing. And so I took him in my arms and I could feel his fear. And I sit down with him on the couch, and I could feel like he was battling. And what I've done is, what you're saying. I just went into this altered state of consciousness, and I asked, "We are ready to let you go," because often animals that we love, there is a part of us, they stay with us because they are worried or they are scared to leave us. And
Hmm.
my husband was beside, and I said, let's we are letting you go. And then I asked Superconscious Mind, please accelerate the process because we called the vet, and I didn't want to bring him to the vet to put him down. And miraculously, as soon as I asked Superconscious Mind, accelerate the process, in 5 minutes, he had his last breath. It was amazing and powerful because it taught me so much. And having this tool of self-hypnosis helped me to do the grieving process in a more gentle way and also being more present for the person. Well, for instance, it was my cat. But I heard so many stories of people doing with their loved one from long disease. And yeah, this is why I wanted to share this story because it really resonates, and what you are saying is like, yeah, I think animals, yeah, they have so much to teach us, and it's wonderful that you have this call and this yeah, nudge.
And thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry, so sorry to hear because that's just the horriblest thing, isn't it? It's family that you lose, and you love each other in that way, and it's so beautiful that you could do that for your cat and just be there in those moments, and and yet also with gratitude for hypnosis, because I agree it's such a beautiful tool, one for communication,
Mm.
with the superconscious and with animals and so on. But secondly, for processing, as you say,
Yeah,
like processing emotions and dealing with things.
yeah,
Uh, it's it's incredible. It doesn't stop you feeling pain, right? You still feel all the pain,
that's right.
but it gives you a tool to navigate that and to know where to go to get out of it.
Yes,
It's
and
really
it's what is powerful. And actually, I would love you to tell us because you have so many different programs. There is one, there is the 30-10, no, 10-30,
30-10,
10-30
yeah.
reset program that you are doing. You've done the
Mm.
wind down program. So yeah, if you want to tell us a little bit what are those programs and why you are passionate about them.
Okay, yeah. So, look, I'm passionate about a lot of things. I get very excited, and I want to help people, right? So, with these ones that you've mentioned, the wind down and the 30-10, these are online programs for alcohol reduction and for
Mm,
weight loss. And because as a hypnotherapist, it's not the cheapest thing in the world sometimes to go and see a hypnotherapist, and I can be pricey, and I really want to help people as much as I can. So, with Wind Down, I made that with my friend Caroline Cranshaw, and we made an alcohol reduction program with video lessons and audio hypnosis to listen to. The idea of this is accessible; everyone can afford it. It's the cost of about a week's worth of alcohol for an average drinker, and what it does is it gives you two options because
mm,
most people they just want to cut down. My advice is stop, but most people they want to cut down. And so it gives you the option, do you want to cut down or do you want to stop? And let's guide you through that. We're going to teach you what alcohol does, what it doesn't do. We're going to take you through why you might be drinking more than you want
Wow.
and look at how it can actually be easy to cut down. It can be very, very easy to stop drinking. And I think we get all in our heads about it sometimes, especially if, like me, in the past, you've drunk too much and you
Mhm.
go, oh, but I just really want another wine. So wind down, um, just it's something that I went through, drinking too much in my past. And I never reached the stage of being alcoholic, but that's still not, it's still wherever you are on the spectrum, if you're drinking more than you want to be drinking, then it can be a scary place because you don't want to talk about it.
Mhm.
They feel ashamed of it. And
Yeah.
I want to tell you, if you're listening to this and you're drinking more, everybody lies about how much they drink. Everyone's
Yeah.
drinking more than they say. Not every single person, but most people. And everybody has the same thoughts. Nobody wants to drink as much as they drink, at least on some occasions.
Mhm.
So just forgive yourself and move on. And you can wind down. The 30-10 is I'm doing that with my friend Cheryl Takayama. She's a very experienced nutritionist. She famously lost 30 kilos and has kept it off, I think, for 20 or 30 years. And she has a full clinic. She teaches weight management. And so together we made this program because what Cheryl does is the nutrition component, which is so huge with weight loss. And I do the mind component, but together it's unstoppable. We had somebody trial this. We've just launched it today. Today we've launched the kind of the pre-launch. And just one of our people trialing it lost 11 kilos. 11 kilos
Wow.
just doing that program. And so it's very effective because it doesn't leave anywhere to hide. If you're like, oh, but I've tried this or I've tried that, or but I sabotage myself or I get too stressed, we've got you covered. So the 30-10 reset is 30 days, 10 minutes a day to keep it simple, of a
Wow.
video or a hypnosis that's just going to motivate you. And we're going to go through things like what to eat, what to drink, how to sleep, how to reduce stress, how to deal with cravings, and just kind of cycle through all this in that 30 days.
Wow. There are recordings, so you also have like an area for the a community for people to talk.
Yes, so right now these are all they're all online programs with pre-recorded videos, but there's also a community. So for example, we'll have finished this by the time this goes to air. But today we've also launched a 5-day thing where we've got a Facebook community to join. Um, so there are live components in their communities on Facebook to join, and we're also accessible. Me, Caroline, Cheryl, we are all involved in the work that we do. We're proud of it. These are our babies, right? The things that we
Yeah.
make. And so, yeah, if you want to find out more, get in touch and we can, yeah, pop you into those communities.
Yeah, for our listeners, because it will be, as you say, airing later on, we will put everything in the show notes. And because I'm sure the 5 days challenge that you are offering is something that you will do again. Am I correct? Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Yes, we're going to be doing that again. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's fantastic. I think a lot of people will want to to hear about it. That's amazing. That's a perfect combination. Yes. Hmm. Wonderful. I think I think I've got all the questions that I was oh, there is one question maybe I would like you to tell us is if someone well, I guess we you already talked a little bit about it, but if someone has a passion, something, or even hypnotherapy is interested in, because I know that you are also training people to become hypnotherapists, but
Yeah.
what would you tell to someone who wants to do something, they're not sure what, but they feel that there is a call? What would be your advice?
Not specifically in hypnotherapy, right? But in any field, do you mean?
Well, let's answer both of them, like one on the
Answer both?
hypnotherapy and one on the.
Okay. Well, I think if you've got a calling to do something
Mhm.
and you're not sure what to do, I followed the advice of Robert Kiyosaki. So he wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I loved that book. It really, it's about the mindset of people who do well and are successful with money versus those who aren't. And his advice was something like this. If you want to be an actor, you don't have to go to acting school and go to hundreds of auditions and make it in Hollywood. You
Mm.
can just go and get a job cleaning a film set. Be a cleaner, clean the film set, go and work in the catering department. Just get into that industry, find your way in, and you will meet people, you will talk to people, and you will find a way to make it that way. And and so I like that concept. The other concept that he gave from that was if you do something you love, you'll find a way to make money doing it. So just know that if you love doing it, you can find a way to make money. You'll be creative, you'll have passion, you'll put the energy in, you'll stay up late doing it because you love it. So um pick something that you love
Mhm.
and then find any related job and you will work your way up. I wanted to work when I was like 18, I wanted to work with like starving orphans in Africa. I wanted to go and, help them. So I just emailed this guy that worked for Child Fund that I saw in a newspaper article. Can I take you for a coffee? I want to know how you got your job, what you do. Within a month, I had a job there. Within 3 months, I was being offered to run a team of people, and so you can you can make contacts, but be bold. The problem is, and I'm sorry, but I help a lot of people with this. I help a lot of people finding work. I don't know why. It's just a thing that I'm good at. And friends and family and so on. I always just find a job by you have to take a step. You have to go
Mhm.
out, you have to do what other people aren't doing.
Mhm.
If everyone's applying for the job and they're all filling in a CV and they're all sending it in, you have to go in person. You have to call them up. And they might be annoyed with you. That's okay. It's okay if some people are annoyed with you. You have to show up with cookies. If you've got a passion and you want to follow it, then make an extra effort. Do what the other people are not doing. Um, when it comes to hypnosis and hypnotherapy, in the first month of study, me and my friend, we decided we wanted to be the best. And so we read all of the modules in the first month and we practiced like every day
Wow.
because that's what we wanted to do. Like we wanted to get ahead of the class who had started a month before us. And if you want to train, I think be prepared for it's a commitment. You can do a 2-day online course and then you can do like a year-long program and there's everything in between.
Mm.
You cannot learn hypnosis in a week or in a month or in a year. There is so much to it. And I don't care how amazing your tutor is or your institution is or the book that you've read is, nothing beats practice.
Mhm.
Getting in front of somebody and using the tools that you've learned, finding out what works and doesn't work, and knowing what to do next. So wherever you decide to learn, and obviously love it if you come and learn with me at Integrative Hypnotherapy Institute, but wherever you go, wherever country you're in, whether you want to do online or in person, as soon as you start learning, start pairing up, start practicing. Don't
Mhm.
practice on your friends and family too much
Mhm.
because when it goes wrong and it doesn't work, there'll be bad feelings and it'll be a bit weird. So try and find strangers to practice with, students, and practice, practice, practice. That's my main advice for hypnosis.
I like that. And when you were explaining at the beginning, the beginning of the first answer, I really could remember when um, when you are at school and you have this teacher, usually if you're gonna ask the teacher in 20 years, like which one do you remember? And they will tell you, well, this Kevin was terrible. It is because that's the thing. Like the more we are active and talking and putting ourselves there, yeah, of course people will remember you. But if you're shy and yeah, they won't remember. They won't remember the good students because.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You have to be prepared to be a little bit annoying. Every now and then I have students in my class and I say to Caroline, I go, um, they're like me, they're annoying, but they're gonna go really far because they're always asking questions or they're going off topic or they're 10 steps ahead. But I love seeing it. And yeah, I think just being yourself and being bold, it
Mm.
requires annoying some people. Because if otherwise, what's the other option is you're pleasing everybody, right? And then
Mm.
you can't be being yourself if you're pleasing everybody. So just don't worry that some people get annoyed with you. Just be you. And there's some people that will love that and they will love to hire you. They'll love to help you on your journey. You know, people thought I was cheeky as hell applying for a manager's role at the bank after I'd been working there for 3 months. And I didn't get the job, but within several months after that, I got offered to apply for the same role somewhere else, and I got a big promotion and all that. It's like you don't know. When I was studying hypnosis, I said I want to be the teacher here. You know, I just said that I want to be the teacher here one day. And within a couple of years, I was teaching there. A position opened up, and they remembered, and they said that when I was teaching, someone said that to me. I've taught at two different schools, and this was the old school where I used to teach. And as I was leaving there, somebody had told me I would like to teach her one day. You know, she'd been bold and people had the same thought. Oh, look at her putting herself up there. And guess what? She is now the teacher. You know, she put her hand up and she said, I want that. And I was like, okay, you. So I think be a bit cheeky, be a bit bold, but do it in your way. Like I'll go up to people and speak to them. Maybe you write a letter, or maybe you buy them a nice gift, or maybe
Mhm.
you know, do something a bit more subtle. Use
Yeah.
your style.
That's a wonderful advice. Thank you so much, Daryl, for that. That's awesome.
Welcome.
My last question is there any question I didn't ask you think I should ask?
Mm. Is there any question that I think you should ask me or that I
Yeah.
should ask you? Ask me on the subject of gift. Yeah, I think you should ask me the question, what is your gift?
Ah, I love that. So, Daryl, what is your gift?
Good question. Um, my gift is being able to read between what I'm being told. It's being able to see beyond what people are telling me
Huh.
and to see what's behind something and then what's behind that. I've always been fascinated with how things work my whole life. You know, when I was my favorite subject, people that know me will think this is strange because I'm so into spirituality and all the woo stuff, but with science. I love science. I love physics. I love chemistry. I was so satisfied when I got explanations for how and why things worked. I'm just
Uh-huh.
so intrigued. And when it comes to the body, when it comes to the health, when it comes to the mind and the spirit, I'm so intrigued in how it works. And so I spend an awful lot of time, like a really large amount of time considering these things. And how does that work? And how's that connected? And so I think my gift is to see connections, is to see patterns. Like if I'm walking in a street, I will see a four-leaf clover just walking past it because my mind has the shape of a four-leaf clover somewhere
Wow.
installed in it and it knows what it looks like. And when I see somebody sitting in front of me, I don't care what your problem is. I don't care how big it is or how long it's been going on. I mean, of course I care, but my point is I don't mind because I think that there's a solution and I think I'm going to see it. I think that I'm going to be able to help you. So that's my gift.
Yeah. Reading between lines. I love that.
Mhm.
Ah. Do you think it's something that was from birth or something that you developed?
I developed it, I think. I always saw things differently from birth. I know that. Like my mom used to tell me stories about how we'd be driving and I would describe the wind in the, you know, blowing the grain as the swimming fields and things like that. I would come up with names to describe things. She always thought I was quite creative in that way, but I consider it a skill I've developed through like a passion to know and to understand that even for example, whatever job you want to do, and especially if you want to do hypnosis or therapy, learn body language. You know, because you're just going to learn everything all between the lines just by doing that. Um, And by pursuing these different ways, different learnings, different ways of finding out information, it's come together over time. It's come together over time. And with practice, I think intuition's a great thing, but I also believe that the intuition really is just the sum of your knowledge. if you there's psychic intuition where like getting message from an external source, but
Mhm.
mostly we intuition is about feelings and senses, and maybe should go there, and there's quite clear science that we
Mhm.
get that through experience. So if you're
Mhm.
in a clinic and you see, I don't know, 40, 50 people every year for weight loss, then after 10 years, you're going to see people and you're not always going to be right, but you're going to go, I don't know why I think this, but I do. Are you like snacking on this at night? And you just get these ideas that come into your mind, and so yeah, I think if you don't consider yourself naturally experienced or naturally able to read between the lines, I think it's a skill you can develop.
Well, thank you so much, Daryl, for this wonderful talk. I really, really enjoyed. And oh yeah, I still need to mention that you have this really cool podcast. And I will say, yeah, it's called. Hang on. What?
So it's
Oh
it's
yeah, stories and
WT, stories and advice.
WTF.
You'll find it under
It's not meant for
WTF.
kids. This
No.
podcasting. No.
And if you're my family, don't listen to it either.
Okay.
It's on the subject of sex and relationships and what the fuck stories, WTF. And it's again, it's my friend Caroline Cranshaw. I'm the regular guest. And so yeah, we do this podcast and it's a bit of a laugh. And I think well, most people that listen to it, they're going to enjoy it. So yeah, give it a whirl.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a few videos on your YouTube channel with Caroline, and yeah, I really love the synergy between the two of you. It looks really good.
So, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know I had some up there, so good to know.
Yes, yeah, that you should do more. It's fun. Hi, I'm Daryl. Hi, I'm this is Daryl. This is Caroline. That's good. I liked it. Well, thank you so much, Daryl, for this time together. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure our listeners will take a lot of gems out of this one.
Thank you so much for having me. You're very welcome, and yeah, I hope that you did get something out of it, and that maybe if you're listening to this, you're inspired to follow your passion and follow your dreams, um, and yeah, maybe you got a practical tool to help you along the way.
Yeah. Thank you.